Hi, Eric Gibaud, Gibaud.com, and today, thanks to Photoshop.com, I'm going to present you the lens by Fujifilm, the 18mm, XF 18mm 1.4 RLMWR. Let's start. So here's the beast. Many people ask for it because they doubt between the 16mm and this one. Obviously, this is not the same focal length. 18 is the equivalent of 27mm in full frame, okay, or 24 by 36, call it as you want, okay. And it comes with a sunshade, which is good. And here you see you have the aperture ring that is here. And I think it's a bit too soft. I would like the click to be more stuffed, more hard to move accidentally. And actually, here you also have the A for automatic aperture, but then you have a lock to lock it there, so it doesn't move anymore, okay? And the difference between this one and the 16 1.4 thing has a clutch here, so you can actually go, here's a manual focusing, but on the 16mm you have a clutch, same as on my Olympus, and actually you move it to be manual, and then you pull it forward, so you push it forward to have it working full time, okay? So that's the difference. But I'm going to tell you a bit what I think about the lens and show you some pictures I've made with it. So I'm going to show you some pictures I've made, and at the same time I'm going to speak about the lens, my impression, but the picture already show you a bit more what I feel, okay? And it's really well built. I think it's the equivalent of 27mm equivalent full frame. This is a focal length, maybe don't use that much, okay, I'm more 35, but that's not the matter in this video. It opens from 1.4 up to f16. Well, I can see there is not much distortion. I think, although it's a wide angle, it's not an ultra wide angle, but it's a wide angle, there is not much distortion. I also see there's no much chromatic aberration. It's really controlled, really contained. It's really okay, and I think it's due probably to the the way it's built. 15 elements that includes one low dispersion element and 3 aspherical elements that help correct distortion. All this. So the quality, the optical quality, is really okay. Okay. What I see, there is a very good sharpness at 1.4 already. It's normally usual to close a bit the aperture and to be at f4, for example. With a 1.4 you would close 2 stops, like 1.4, f2, f4, to get the maximum sharpness. You do get it at f4, yes, but at 1.4 you already have a really good sharpness. So it's really nice, because if you want a shallow depth of field with sharp details on the part that is sharp, that's okay, that's good, it works fine, okay? The autofocus is fast, silent, but honestly I'm not a good judge for that, because I tested with on Fujifilm X-E1 that use contrast detection for autofocus, not phase detection. So that means that I could not really get benefit of from this new motor, okay? But what I've read, what I've heard, yes, it is faster, but it's not that much faster than the other one that before, okay? But that's okay, that's nice. I mean, it works fine to me, okay? What I really love is that you can be as close as 20 centimeters. So although this is not a macro lens, obviously, because it's wide angle or this, but you can get really close, and you can have a really shallow depth of field, and you can have what's sharp is really standing out, okay? So it's not macro, but the ratio is like 1 to 5, okay? That's okay, or 5 to 1, I can't remember which order you have to say, but that's really good. I mean, you can do really great things with it. This is weather sealed, weather resistant they call it, for dust proof, splash proof, and freeze proof. It can go down to -10°C, so really good. The bokeh, which is very often confused with shallow depth of field. One thing is the depth of field, another thing is the bokeh, which is the look of the autofocus part, okay? And it's, I would say, soft, nice transition, not too harsh, really nice. I think it's nice, and the light points are round, circular, so that's really nice. I really liked it. You can obviously focus manually if you want. The focusing ring is really soft, really soft. It's a pity there's no clutch. Actually, I was a bit surprised that there was no clutch, because I thought that this line of lenses, Fujifilm would put clutch on all of them, and this one they didn't. I know this happened also to Olympus, that some of their Pro line have clutch and some other haven't, but yeah, I wish that it had, because I think it's nice, it's practical when you have that. Okay, but that's it, that's what it is. I just say what there is, okay? The build is really nice. I really like the way it feels, metal quality. It weighs 370 grams, which is okay, is that nice? And the diameter for filter is 52mm, which is easy to find filter size, okay? There is a bit of flare, but not much really. I think it's well controlled, and it gives this small special touch, okay? Some people don't like flare, but then there's almost no lens that have no flare, okay? But this one has a bit of flare, but not too much. No wide angle lens at least, but it's okay, I think. What I'm really surprised is the sharpness. Normally you have to close about 2 stops to get maximum sharpness, so you would get it at f4, and really at f4, yes, you get maximum sharpness all across the picture. But 1.4, it's already there, so if you want to work at 1.4 and still have sharpness, you will get it. Maybe the maximum, but already really good sharpness, so I think it's really nice. Something else I noticed, that at f16 you can get really star pointing at the sun. You really get this star effect, so it's really nice, really nice. I think it's a brilliant lens for that, okay? So I think the optics is really good, and this lens is really recommendable. So the doubt very often is, why should I buy a 1.4 lens? Do I need this? No, maybe f2 or f4, it doesn't matter. I don't know what contrary what aperture lenses they have at Fujifilm, but most brands with the same focal length have maybe a f 2.0, 2.8, 1.4 this, okay? So the thing is, if you're going to get 1.4, you need to use 1.4. It's not an obligation, but you need to use it because it's a lot of money. So honestly, I see many people, they buy a 1.4 lens and they always use it at f4, f8, then get something like f2, 2.8, f4, and that's it, because you're spending a lot of money for something you're not using. And I think we should change the term luminous lens. That was fine in film photography when you could not change the ISO during while you were shooting, okay? But nowadays we can change the ISO, so I don't think people buy that to be more luminous. They buy it to have a shallower depth of field. So if you need this shallow depth of field, yes, get this lens. If you don't need a really shallow depth of field, or it's really seldom you actually use it, then maybe you don't need to spend so much money on a lens like this and get something a bit not as open, okay? But I mean, it's your money, you decide. And by the way, speaking about money, very often people say that Fujifilm lenses are expensive, and it's true, but it's unfair. Let's say yesterday I met a friend, a photographer for a newspaper, and also he stopped with Nikon and went to Fujifilm. And I said, oh, you're not with Nikon anymore? I said, no, I got all my gear stolen, so I went for Fujifilm. And he had a Nikon D3 before, which was really like, you could use it as a hammer, just an incredible camera, okay? And he got some Fujifilm X-T2 about a couple of years ago. And I said, yeah, but the lenses are expensive, or what do you think? He says, no, lenses are cheap. I said, what do you mean they're cheap? And I said, yeah, many people told me, yeah, but Fujifilm lenses are expensive. But I think the problem is that most people don't compare to the same level of quality. They compare to entry-level Nikon lenses or entry-level Canon lenses. But if you look at the prime top of the range lenses they have at Nikon, like 70-200 2.8 or 24mm 1.4, 35 1.4, or at Nikon or at Canon, same thing. The price is higher than a Fujifilm. So this is the problem, that many people compare with the entry-level lenses. At Fujifilm, they don't really have entry-level lenses. Well, now they have the XS lens line, okay? But it's still not really cheap, and it's not bad quality. So really, if you compare peer-to-peer, honestly, in this case, you look at it and you say, yeah, 27mm equivalent, 1.4, that's not more expensive, that's even cheaper. So I think it makes sense for people who need top quality to buy these Fujifilm lenses, and if you compare to the competition, no, they're not more expensive. You need to know how to compare. Do I recommend this lens? Well, honestly, this is not the kind of focal length I use. I'm more a 35mm equivalent person, okay? But yes, if you need this focal length, this is more than recommendable. The build quality is brilliant, the image quality is stunning, it's really a nice lens, so I can really only recommend it. So if this is the focal length you're looking for, yes, definitely you can go close your eyes and buy it, no problem. So thank you very much Photosora for lending me the lens. Thank you very much to you for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the small button down here and also a small bell. If you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. My website ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Also leave your links of my gear on Amazon, links of the products I've reviewed by K&F Concept and Sandmark, and a link to my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye!